the early morning hours of October 21st, 2016. A White House press secretary makes his way to the briefing room as he stands at the podium. An upcoming presidential election stirs in the minds of the masses, but something big happened to divert these talks and debates. He looks over to the seated reporters, all anxiously anticipating what is about to be said. Many believe the internet blackout to be the precursor of an attack from either China or Russia. All the while, the destructive Botn Net, currently ravaging the internet, continues on its warpath. An internet infrastructure company called DYN attempts to hold its own against a wave of more than 100,000 compromised devices. DYN is host to the operation of domain name servers, which connect end users to websites, as they essentially are the bridge connecting the internet together. However, the service is only able to handle a set amount of internet traffic, before the infrastructure starts to wear down and eventually fall. The botnet uses this to overload the internet service provider for numerous high-profile websites, causing a domino effect that shuts down the internet for nearly the entire United States eastern coast. And the day has barely even started. A number of websites are found to have fallen victim to the attack, such as Amazon, Twitter, Reddit, PayPal, and nearly every major news publication website. Behind all the destruction and confusion sits a 19-year-old Josiah White in his Pennsylvania home. He surveys the damage caused, taking it all in, as he can't help but feel a set of emotions overtake him: pride, guilt, surprise, anxiousness, but above all, a sense of wonder. The botnet he created with his two friends is responsible for shutting down the internet, halting the world almost completely. But the feeling of wonder and thrill soon turns to dread, because in his hands now sits one of the deadliest cyber weapons ever created, and who just revealed its existence to the world. It's the summer of 2017, almost a year after the major escapades of the botnet that plagued the internet. On a 10-hour plane flight to Anchorage, Alaska, sits Josiah White and his mother. Once they arrive at the Anchorage Department of Justice, they're greeted by FBI agent Elliot Peterson, someone who spent the past few months on a cat-and-mouse chase between Josiah and his two friends. As they enter, they're accompanied by the Alaskan Assistant U.S. Attorney, who details the immense damage caused by the botnet. If found guilty, Josiah could face up to 6 to 7 years in prison. As the assistant attorney begins to fill him in on the mounting evidence they have, Josiah can't help but feel his stomach churn in anxiety. At numerous points, he had accidentally dropped breadcrumbs to his work on the botnet, crumbs of which the FBI eagerly scooped up. As a break period is had, Josiah's lawyer urges him to take a plea deal. As everyone reconvenes in a smaller conference room, Josiah finally lets his defenses down and submits. He was ready to negotiate with Peterson and the FBI. As such, Peterson leans forward in his chair, attentive towards Josiah. He orders him to reveal everything about the botnet, from its origins to its crimes, the full story of Mirai.
That make the hardware perform operations are known as software.
A computer's programs plus the procedure for their use.
When designing a program,
A set of instructions for performing computer operations.
Sitting in his New Jersey home is Paris Jaw. Before he had taken to building cyber weapons of mass destruction, he found solace in playing Minecraft. The endless world presented him with a vast treasure trove of opportunity and control. He often found more joy in running Minecraft servers, often messing with the code of the server to see how the players inside would react to such changes. Through his love for the game, he became deeply embedded into its way of life. This included being introduced to the server wars. A constant war raged within the confines of the low-res blocks, as booters' DDoS attacks were fired at any and everyone. Given that many servers provided a lucrative income to their owners, protection against these DDoS attacks was a necessity. As Paris talks in a Skype call with a fellow server owner, he's introduced to Josiah, going by his online moniker, Lightspeed. They told Paris that they were going to go inside a rival server owner's world and launch an attack. He witnessed firsthand Josiah's skills in denial of service attacks, as the server's world is brought to a sudden halt. Josiah had built his own botnet, which, though small in scale, was still capable of infecting thousands of computers. This was the result of a security flaw in a web hosting software called PHP-MyAdmin. Josiah then took Paris under his wing, training him on the art of creating botnets. It's now 2014, as Paris starts his college freshman year at Rutgers. Since his early grade school years, his grades were taking a constant downward spiral, and this was no different, even in adulthood. His heart longed for the digital landscape of computers, not pencils and paper. His anger boiled over towards his school, and used one of his botnets to shut down the internet for the entire college. At this point, he used home routers to amass his army of zombie devices. He learned from Josiah months prior that home routers still use default passwords for authentication. As a result, each device was easy to hack into, making the process of building a digital army of parasites all the more efficient and destructive. As he turns off the college's access to the online world, he anonymously taunts them on Twitter, and when exams were around the corner, he shut off their internet again. By now, he would DDoS the college for any inconvenience he had, major or minor. But to Paris, it soon became less about his funneled rage and more about his sense of control. It all culminated in his decision to quit focusing on college and to instead opt to commit himself to the world of botnets. Together with Josiah, they built a DDoS protection company called ProTraf Solutions, off of a $10,000 donation from Paris's father. To their disappointment, they found that their company failed to attract many customers, as many server owners were content with the other protection firm's services. Seeing no other choice, the pair took a juiced-up version of an earlier botnet they created called Qbot, and launched hellfire against the other protection firms. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough to drive new customers to their company, and its death was becoming more inevitable by the second. It's mid-2016, as their protection firm is essentially dead in the water. So Josiah brings up an idea that was eating away at him the past few months. They could build another botnet and loan it out to customers for use, in which they would be paid in untraceable Bitcoin. As the two talk, Paris sends a message, jokingly saying, "Sounds illegal." Josiah replies back, "Yeah, kinda."